Hello there everyone and welcome back. It is time to play with a little bit of Tyranids since someone wanted to see focus on a lot of frigates, and thankfully I already had a handful of fleets that are kind of designed around that a little bit. The only thing is I'm a little trepidatious about doing this because, as you've clearly seen plenty of times already, there is currently a bug that allows ships that are not revealed to kind of sometimes be completely invisible, obscuring even the direction that they're going to me, never mind the fact the arcs of their weaponry. I don't even think I can view what kind of range I have, especially on something that relies heavily on the strangle tentacles. So in theory I could probably play a different fleet, but even then, my other fleet, the massive claw type of fleet here, kind of relies on being able to get a good heading there as well. That is the only problem. So I worry that this is not going to be a good series of matches for multiple reasons. For one, again, I'm going to have a difficult time aiming all my abilities, so that makes it extra difficult. And I fear most that it's just going to make this video really difficult to watch, because even if I made any other fleet that are heavy on frigates, outside of orcs, they do rely a lot on their silent running and their concealment. Otherwise they're going to get isolated. Or at least my opponent can play around that strategy if I don't silent run with them. It's only really the orcs that can get away with it, and in all honesty, my blood axes also rely on stealth a little bit too. I don't even think I'm utilizing all the frigates I could in this fleet, so that's also another factor. Yeah, I'm missing out on 3 frigates, which I suppose I could cut out on a rock, but I love the blood axe fleet as it is currently. I won't lie. So we're going to commit to something that maxes out on the fleets, or maxes out on the escort ships, the frigates. And the only other fleet I could think of are Corsairs that I have that relies heavily on frigates, simply because it reduces, or at least it negates, the punishment of losing engines or losing your generators, which is really important for Corsairs or really any of the Eldari fleets basically. But I don't think I want to play with them either, because that's even more problematic with their pulsars kind of not operating as they should. I believe they always shoot the furthest target away, despite how you prioritize the opponents, but I would need to play test it more to be certain on that. But with that said, we are going to give this a try, and I am warning you now, this may not be a very enjoyable video to watch if the bug persists and becomes really problematic. But let's do this. Alright, Necrons. This should be a potentially promising match for me, since I don't really rely on fighters and torpedoes all that much, although if I get within striking range of if I get in range of my strangle tentacles, they do have the possibility to just jump me immediately. Thankfully, a lot of my strategy and mindset is to try and keep my flagship and my cruisers away for a while they get softened up by the frigates. And the frigates are probably going to be very problematic for Necron, since I do have 83 armor all around on the Krakens. They also regenerate health. So these are going to be, no pun intended, tough shell to crack. So, and actually, I do want these drones to kind of focus on grabbing objectives for me, since that serves a little bit in my benefit for not giving away where the capitalist ships are, ideally. But as you can tell, it's a bit of a mess trying to prioritize and group these things too, so I am good. And it looks like I want both my frigates on the side, or at least drones. Which honestly makes me wonder if I want both of them to just grab the one point then jump to the next. Probably not, because there is a diminishing return. That's a lot of the main reasoning there. But we'll have all the cruisers heading back. I don't expect these torpedo cruisers to do a whole lot because of the star pulse generator, unless I catch them when they're exhausted. But we could potentially overwhelm them with their poor point defense and a lot of fighter bays at my disposal. What do I want? Accelerated regeneration sounds really useful here. I'm just wondering if I want to regenerate my shields faster while in reload stance is what I was thinking. Oh well. Let's get this going. We kept our opponent waiting. Now I am a little worried for trying to rush, because how I understand it, it's silent on my end, but it's audible if you're the host.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So there's my theory there, but I'm fine with the drones rushing because they're gonna give away their position quite obviously in a moment or two. And there is a bit of latency that is not gonna be fun for my micromanagement. But yeah, let it give away their positioning some, but that's what I think the glitch is, or how it functions in that. Well, destroying the deck allows me to board them more, but the engines allows them to not be as maneuverable, so I'm wondering what to prioritize there. And I know you're here, I'm trying to find this ship. There you are, I found you. You thought you could hide from me, accursed thing. I will not be caught off guard, but... So, how do I want to engage this? Because we got a very aggressive tomb ship. They're going to hear me rushing if I rush up to them. And we have a Scourge, which isn't all that problematic. Yeah, because these have chameleonic skin, so that negates them really easily. That will force a jump if it's not off cooldown. And that will eat about 12 of the... what is it? 18 of the crew, give or take. And then a little bit more after that.
The enemy has seized a strategic
So you did your damage, go run, hide.
You have seized a strategic
Go conceal yourself. Actually, you'll have chameleonic skin. You don't really need to worry about concealing yourself all that much. So that's good free damage there for me. Can we follow up on it, though? Because I don't really want to burn the double rush on this, but I think this is promising. And I have 83 armor. So just get this out. Hopefully it'll regenerate its health in time. Although, dang it, I messed up on the heading some. You're gonna run into a spore field, which will be good here for me. And since they have a Scourge, this is probably not gonna work as well as I like, but my drones are grabbing the points, so I am making progress still. And you will be able... well, they burnt the jump, and there's the invisibility I'm talking about. Not the most convenient, but... they're bugging out on me. Oh well, the spore fields are going to work right there, because that will be his own undoing there, but there are some more ships around. There has to be more ships around. And actually, I was going to say, I could avoid Lurker if I was a little more proactive there, but... yeah, let's just launch torpedoes on this thing. While it's still off cooldown. Alright. Well, that is unfortunate. That is not at all the 40 Lurker I wanted. I wonder why that bug didn't work as it should have. Because I had 9,000 range and it did not give me that. So that may have cost me right there, because I cannot now conceal my ship. Yeah, and the tail's gonna hit the tomb ship, is it? It's very likely that might have just cost me right there. I was expecting 9,000 jump range, and I did not get it. So you're gonna keep going there. Keep going, I said. The Scourge is deactivated. We're going to have these two just grab the point. And I have 3 more frigates to kind of come and join us. Alright, board it. We'll cripple it. The deck's currently gone, which helps. And now, don't screw this up, please. However the hell that screwed it up before. Because, yeah, that's what originally I had in mind. Just have this thing stealth, so that way it can't be engaged. And I was kind of robbed of that for whatever reason. And now I can regenerate the ships. As I hit that, there's another ship hidden somewhere way in the back. But their crew is pretty crippled, and again, my hive ship can regenerate health pretty well. Everything's currently concealed, and we can grab these points, which will take a little bit of time though, but I think we're okay with that. Do I grab... Yeah, I should probably try and grab this point too. Force them to come to me again. The only problem is my cruisers are nowhere nearby to make the most of this. Alright, so are you evacuating? Yeah, you just mutinied. So they don't have a scanner pulse, basically. They may have permanently lost the deck there, which helps with the star pulse generator. And reactivating the crew is not going to do a whole lot. But my cruisers are my strongest ships right now in the health department, both in crew and actual hit points, so I think I'm willing to give away where they are for that. Actually, oh, you just regenerate everything, so that's fine. Yeah, just go hide in the gas cloud then. Actually, that's probably a terrible idea, because I'm going to need to sacrifice this one that's being followed. And that will alleviate the vision quickly. Although I am going to have to hide this thing now. Because it's likely going to get rushed down. Oh, it's still concealed, but there is also a visual glitch of some kind that allows the shield of the hive ship to also still give away its position, so I am privy to that. But we're going to have 3 objectives, and we're going to try and finish off this fleet, but with me reliant on the crew, that's not going to be the most effective strategy.
The enemy has accumulated 50% of strategic points.
We'll grab that in a moment. The drones can start making their way over to grabbing points. And we'll see about... Let's see, we know both the ships are there. So, can we deal with the crew some? Because you're not going to kill this very quickly. There's... what's... Sadly, that timed out perfectly for him, but I think we can have our fun here. If only I could see the heading of my dang torpedoes. This is probably not going to be as effective as I want it to be. Now, it's a question of what's hidden in back for the... What is it? The mass recall. So that's the one thing I'm wondering about. Because is it possible I could jump it there if it's just sitting in the gas cloud for another charge or not? Because they're out in the middle of nowhere. I have 3 objectives. They are going to hear me pretty much, so... But... Actually, let me recharge my abilities a bit. That is going to kill some of my crew. Oh, it did kill like a third of it. I should have looked at that beforehand. And you're just going to steal that quickly. Alright. Can we kill off the crew here quickly? Yeah, you're gonna lose your crew in a moment, so I'm fine there. Just use your rush ability, ideally. And that was their last mass recall, so let's keep that in mind. I'm hoping it was... I need more boarding, apparently, on this one ship. Drifting Hulk there, but I think the fighters... Well, I am going to have fighters supporting, but that's not going to help much. I do need to be mindful of the score.
The enemy has accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Because they're 600 points away from winning still. And killing their ships is not a good way for me to get victory as far as score is the problem. So just board the hell of this, kill off the crew entirely. And then just dodge it all. Can we dodge it all together? We have assault ships coming in a moment to maybe finish off this one. Not possible because my fighters are out. So this might just die if I'm not careful. I don't have quite the hit points, so... And the fighters are still going to kill off this one cruiser, the sad truth is, with the Scourge.
You have accumulated 50%.
I'll get the Void Lurker in a moment. Still limit on the range there a bit. And I'm trying to figure out what happened to my boarding. I did have more boarding, right? Or did they just regenerate the crew? I'll be able to board you in a moment. You'll be slowed down nicely, but we are a bit on the clock. And you have enough crew to reactivate both the Tomb ship and this other one. Oh, I'm about to lose this drone because of that too. Kill off the crew and we should hopefully be done. I have brace for impact, I have fighters, but I don't think my fighters actually intercepted the actual ships I want to intercept. Which is a bit problematic. Now I am safe from the blast radius. That's the only thing I got going here, I am. And I could kill the crew with a good strangle tentacle in a moment. And I did not prioritize the engines, so maybe that was a big mistake to not go for the engines, honestly. And we're 200 points away. There should be almost no way for him to kill the hive ship now. But that was a bit of a scare when my Void Lurker at the beginning kind of did not work the way I wanted it. I basically jumped half the distance for some weird reason. I could not conceal it like I had in mind with the second jump, trying to disengage. And as a result, that became a lot closer than it probably needed to be. And apparently they were a legendary Necron. That's all I could say there. Although, I guess being legendary means you have to rely on having a third of your fleet just hiding the back for mass recall. Which doesn't seem all that exciting, if I were to be honest. Alright, it looks like we're having ourselves a rematch here. So hopefully we can improve on this, since that match was a little bit closer than I would like it to have been. So it just comes down to, do I want to prioritize the engines, because that jumping around with them doing suicide ramming is a bit problematic for my boarding. If only a little bit. And I don't think I really got a whole lot of value out of my boarding anyway. Never mind the fact I kind of just brute forced it a little bit. At least that's what I remember of that match. But again, let's try and improve on this. Although all the objectives are basically on one side of the map, so... And with their battleships and all that, it's going to be tricky to kind of have that go in my favor. With them just randomly grabbing it, but... If I could position myself well for their mass recall, I could probably grab them really quickly with my hive ships and my cruisers, ideally. That is the dream, at least. And... Nope. I have my groups all sorted out wrong, dang it. There we go. So drones, of course, are going to do what the drones did last time. Just grab the points, although... Gotta be very mindful there. Anything else I want to tweak? Morale could be pretty useful. It's just damaging the morale because them jumping around. I'm just not going to get a lot of use out of this. Because with spore fields, they're not going to stay in place. Speedy recovery is amazing, I'm not going to lie, for this situation if they focus down the hive ship. But I don't know if that's the route I want to go. Either way, let's get going, see if we can improve on this. And without a doubt, we kind of know where the cruiser's hiding. They don't have the convenience of element of surprise and additional gas clouds. It's probably hiding the edge here or on this one gas cloud, so you know what I can do is try and force a panic response out of them.
The enemy has seized
Only
the
thing I
strategic
really
area.
don't know is if the cruiser, if the mass recall gets deactivated by destroying the deck. That would be really important to know. I would love to know that, but I don't think I'm going to get to know without actually testing it myself. Let's see. Just get on jumping. We should dodge this decently well, but again, my opponent probably hears all this. That's what I come to suspect with how this rushing mechanic even works. Ah, dang it. I was just a second off there, too. I would have loved to have abused that, but my own commentary is kind of distracting me, isn't it? Because now I can hide these really easily. They have to jump. And now if we could do some damage here, that'd be pretty good, but... I am going to be fighting a little bit as the underdog. Well, I'm going to be not underdog, but fighting with a little bit less of a deficit. Because you cannot quite shoot me until you start turning more.
You have seized a strategic area.
I got Camille. Oh, well, they're marked at the moment, so let's keep that in mind. Huh. Okay, so they have the cruiser out this time. So you're on fire, you're kind of okay though. Now let's burn these abilities as much as we can. And you're no longer marked. And these Krakens can come in here freely and start doing damage. Wait for a star pulse generator, but you know what's gonna happen. Just jump on out, huh? Now, can we board and do some actual proper damage here? Because I don't think I'm going to get a lot of boarding here. Because my ships are all facing the wrong way. We can... And you're going to ram them. Yeah, I rushed that. So they ended up ramming themselves when they shouldn't have.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Yeah, sadly, this control is a bit of a mess right now. Okay, we can still make it work there. Can we? We just got to... Well, they're about to jump in a moment, I would think. Can we board the hell of this thing? We could try, but not likely. We don't know where the frigate is just yet. Oh, never mind. We know exactly where the frigate is, so... Kill that, so we have less problems to worry about later. Sadly, you've been negated there quite a bit. We're gonna try and hide you here. And we have some more boarding. We can actually do some decent boarding here now. I want to believe anyway.
You have seized a strategic.
I am burning retros. That's one of the problems I gotta stop doing, is just doing my habit of burning retros, because I always assume rushing turns that off, when without a doubt it does not. And it's gonna hurt me a lot if this keeps going.
50% of strategic points.
I don't know if those torpedoes did what they needed to, but... I can jump away real easily, but where do I go? I don't think I'm gonna make it on time. Actually, I could conceal myself. Yeah, I'm just messing up on my control, aren't I? And you are not revealed, so... So I don't know if that turned off the mass recall, is of course the only problem there. And everything is pretty limping, but without a doubt I'm not going to win this match via just killing off their fleet, or at least by the victory points. It's just to force them to react. Alright. Deactivate the cruiser. Recharge your shields, because I have been doing a bad job managing that. And that crew is dead. So just turn them off with permanent destruction on everything. That should be good. And in 30 seconds, we'll be able to finish this off. I do want to go after the frigate, though. The scanner pulse is a bit annoying still. But I don't think I'm going to get to do that. And you managed to reactivate the ship, so... without a doubt, I know what I'm doing here. I just have no way to hide myself the best. Actually, that's not true. So long as this is not activated. I did not hide myself. It was too slow to do that. And that was the wrong ability, dang it. But apparently it did what was needed. So all I have to really do is just try and grab these points. Well, it's 2-on-2. I just have no score because, of course. Oh, they have that activate now, dang it. It's not a big threat, but still.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Yeah, and Resurrection Orb did crap there, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, sadly that's not going to do anything because, yeah, it's not running all that shenaniganry. So the smart thing to do would be to try and hunt this thing down. I don't know where it is, though, is the problem. I could just blindly jump once I get my Void Lurker up. But I need to grab these points, too. Well, I'm gonna grab this anyway, but I don't think it matters. Unless I get blindly lucky, which I'm not. So that can reactivate 2 of the ships. And you know that's just gonna launch fighters, so... very likely just gonna launch fighters. Unless they're disabled. Only 1 fighter base, so maybe there's something that can be done.
You have seized a strategic area.
And what's probably going to happen, they're going to launch assault boats or something there at the last moment if they can't just stop this straight up. All I need is 1 boarding action. Come on, give me the 1. You're taking an eternity.
The enemy is close to victory by strategic points.
There. That's all I could really ask for, I guess. I need to watch my crew health, though. And then, because we know the cruiser's here, it just can't move, and it only has, well, it is regenerating crew, let's be fair. With the reload stance, especially, yeah, they have that, so they can regenerate their crew, but I don't have the means to kill off their ships quickly. Alright. And this is where the mass recall might come in, assuming the deck didn't turn it off, that is. And we know where the frigate is, I can't do anything about it though. And we have about 200 seconds. But now, these ships are nowhere near the cruiser.
You have seized a strategic
I am
area.
not going to catch this. And again, I don't really have the means to destroy these things quickly. Never mind. Enough to where it can make a difference. Alright, so that's kind of what I predicted, but again, how was I supposed to punish that? I sit here and then...
has seized a strategic area.
Well, I guess the frigate just freely reactivates everything. Now, we can still deal with them, we just don't have the easiest means, because Star Pulse Generator's back up now. And this, yeah, the Tomb Ship's gonna have its deck regenerate before this even gets here. Bit of a problem. So that's board there. I have no idea if that actually was boarded or not, which is really annoying. And I have enough health to kind of regenerate this, but I am going to lose a lot of crew.
You have accumulated 50%.
Yeah, this is
of
over, dang it.
strategic points.
I messed up on my control a bit there, and it was an awkward situation on how do I best deal with that? Because with them having 2 points in the score lead, because I can't really kill the ships, I couldn't just sit there, could I? Although, how much damage would I have done on the hull? That's something I'm uncertain about. Would I have killed them in a reasonable amount of time that sitting there actually would have been useful? Because I still think they regenerate their hull is a bit of the conundrum there too, even when deactivated. I don't know where this is at. So, 4 points of damage for every 100 points of shield. So yeah, 20 points of shield damage isn't terrible. It just is an awkward situation. Because again, I think they're still regenerating their health during that time. I could be wrong though. Alright, Imperial Navy. The perfect dessert to have after our main course with the Necrons. And while I am a little bit bitter on that second loss, there was real possibility to still win that. It's just a matter of knowing what was the best course of action. Because again, it was like awkward. It was really awkward with both of us having 2 points, but since my strategy isn't about killing ships, I was drastically behind in the victory point count. So, I didn't know the best way to go about that aside from just straight up killing their entire fleet. And I had another thought that I wish I had really considered. Although, the hooked tentacles, I don't know if that's mitigated by armor or how much it's mitigated. So I don't feel like this is practical, but that might have helped deal with my frigate in a much more simplistic manner. I don't know again how true that is because armor could be mitigating that. And with 83 armor, that is basically doing nothing to it. Outside maybe a ram if I'm so lucky. But it's something I have to really consider and pay attention to because I never really used the hook tentacles for that reason. But, oh, that was the wrong group there. Or actually, it is the group I want. It just unbind it. The other group. Now, I did unbind my group 5, so let's fix that. So drone, you're going there. You are my group 2. Okay, never binded you. And now, oh god, all my groups are messed up apparently. Silly me. And there we go. Now we have this fixed properly, dang it. I'm hoping at least. It is a very complicated mess if you're not used to this fleet. It goes without saying. Never mind the fact that since I don't have the convenient access of setting the feeder tentacles and the hook tentacles to a hotkey, I have to manually activate them every single time. Which, of course, is not the only exception, but it makes it tricky to manage such a fast fleet, though. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And otherwise, I think I want to keep these as is. And let's get going. And I am the host, which in all honesty means that if my theory is right on how this glitch works, my opponent cannot hear me rushing. But I'm not really interested in abusing that. Let's try and have ourselves a fair fight. At least as fair as I could possibly make it, which can be tricky with a lot of the glitches. Because after all, disruption overcharge is like almost game breaking against some factions, because it completely denies the shields from recharging. Whether that's still intentional or not is a different story. But it's kind of essential for my Mechanicus at the very least if I want to use them to get victory. Because that's probably the best upgrade they have access to. Now, I heard no beacon. They did launch fighters, but more for defensive purposes. I'm trying... I only see one blip, so... I want to say that's like... Well, Imperial Navy can't even have a single squadron ship. So I don't know what to make of that, but judging by the speed, they almost look like they're battleships. Battleships or just battle cruisers in general. Now let's get these guys ready for some flanking maneuvers.
The enemy has seized a strategic
I
area.
could launch torpedoes. That does give away my position a tiny bit, but it'll distract them for maybe the frigates to harass them or harry them a bit. So I think I'm okay with that. I just gotta aim it properly for it to really do some actual use. Because the objectives are prompting him to go to the right. So you guys going up there, hive ship. You get ready to maneuver with the Krakens. And frigates here will attempt the back door. Again, my theory is my rushes are silent, so it's really tempting to try and jump this one lagging behind ship using that, or taking advantage of that, because then they're not going to really see this coming. Okay, that was effective, but a lot of the reason why I did that was because it was 200 health Corvette after all. Oh, they have the upgrade for the sensors, so let's just get this out of the way then. And be mindful that there could be more. And if there isn't, then my opponent's making a big mistake having such a fragile reliance on, or at least having a very weak link there in this type of matchup. Now, just board them. And your Strangle's tentacle got messed up because of the heading. Alright, you're good there. Oh, the frigate found my cruisers. That's a little unfortunate, but... Actually, are you not revealed? Oh, you are revealed, so... Get the hiding. I need to prioritize the deck because that's really important here. And actually, get to rushing. And let's do the rushes properly to mitigate this awkward situation. Probably my biggest problem is I try to rush too much. It could just be habit at this point, but my greatest strength is my hit and run potential. So let's get you moving. Get these guys going. And I don't know what to do with you besides just eventually grab this objective.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So I think I want to go after you, especially with the scanner pulse giving me that luxury. And now let's just cripple the ship, disengage, and we're golden. I just gotta be very careful of my flagship getting picked off, but I think we're okay. Yeah, and you do you have armor piercing? No, you don't. You have Coolexes, which isn't going to do you much here. And then rush again. Conceal yourself. Oh, you are... Well, one of them is marked, so... Not as flawless as it could be. But I am going to have a nice opportunity to cripple you guys. This is a really bad angle. But we can make it work really quickly here. Yeah, I don't think my fighters are going to do enough on their own without some backup. I don't know if my opponent knows how to deal with Tyranids, sadly. Is leaning towards that direction. But
the enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
Now, Hook Tentacles. We're about to get in range. And will that kill it? Not quite. So that probably was not worth it, in all honesty. Alright, let's get out of here quickly. God, you did it again. What the hell happened there that you won't jump when I tell you to? That is gonna cause massive problems for me if I'm not careful. Because now I'm vulnerable to the Nova cannons because of that. But we can board this thing easily enough. That is going to get boarded nicely. And actually just grab these points. I'm annoyed by that Foil Lurker not working as it should. Because sure, there is a Kraken corpse there. But it's again a corpse that can be pushed along. So I don't think it would be that much of an issue, right? But that very easily can be a death sentence, so I need to understand why it wasn't working before. So we're going to dodge Nova Cannon easily. You're going to get, well, you can't get boards yet, but your engines are down currently. So I'm looking forward to hitting you with torpedoes, but that was a bad arc. Nope, that was the wrong ability. And I don't think my torpedoes are going to connect the best. If my torpedoes connect at all. Oh, and I never even grabbed this point. A little unfortunate, but... let's preserve these ships. Attempt to. Your crew's about to die. You're gonna go conceal yourself. Because the flagship's in good shape and we're gonna slow these guys down a bit. There. Nice, simple. I kind of wish I had the Psychic Scream, because this is a good opportunity to force 2 mutinies with their flagship out of commission. But I worry that may not be as effective as I'm envisioning because of how convenient a rally can be to negate that. Because this has a really long cooldown, the Psychic Scream, I believe. But either way, we're grabbing the points. We're slow. They are mutiny, but they're going to lose their crew, so... we're just going to eat the ships and force them to kind of self-destruct. I said eat the ships, which means eating the ship means eating the crew.
You have seized a strategic area.
And that should be all she wrote. I could just kill this light cruiser right now, even. How quickly are we dissolving this? Not very quickly because my shields are getting knocked down. Keep that in mind. This is not as flawless as I made it sound. Talking with how I should have done that against my Necron match. Because that frigate can very easily take down my shields a fair amount. If it really wanted to. But I have the health still. This frigate's about to die. And now you are marked, so you can't dissolve anything yet, but let's get these ships in a prime position and figure out where the last ship is, which is nowhere nearby. It may very well be the frigate that I tried to hunt down, which sadly... Oh, hold that thought, I'm getting distracted.
You have accumulated 50%.
Now I lost my train of thought because I'd rather not have my ships explode. I'm sure you can't blame me for that, but... The hook tentacle, when I'm not able to ram them, was not as effective as I would have liked. So even if I used that against the Necron frigate, it still very likely would have still been alive, with plenty of health. Never mind the fact that it would still regenerate its health too, keep that in mind too. So it's not like I would have been anywhere closer to killing it, I feel. But it is an option that I should consider. But the ramming apparently is so damn important, because we kind of seen the vast difference there. Since that Cobra only had 50 armor, which is as weak as we can get, but I believe we weren't doing 50 points of damage, because in that case, 4 of those Krakens would have very easily killed it alone. So the armor was mitigating it. So yeah. I'm gonna have to I will definitely have to look at that match there to see what was the best course of action. Because there were definitely several different choices I could have done there, and of course, I don't know which one would have been the one to give me victory.